Every single morning, millions of older men wake up and make the same quiet mistake. It only takes a few minutes, but the damage? That can last all day, and over time, it may be slowly destroying your health. It seems harmless. It's familiar. Maybe it even feels like part of your normal routine. But what if I told you that this one habit, this deeply personal act, might be silently damaging your body in ways you can't see yet, but will absolutely feel later? That same moment of quick pleasure first thing in the morning could actually be draining your testosterone, exhausting your heart, irritating your prostate, and triggering hormone crashes that leave you tired, foggy, and weaker than you were yesterday. Think I'm exaggerating? Let me ask you something. Have you ever had one of those mornings where you feel completely wiped out before 10 a.m.? Like you're dragging yourself through the day, wondering where your strength and stamina have gone. Maybe your motivation is low. Your joints ache. You're snappy or just spaced out. You chalk it up to age, or poor sleep, but no one ever tells you to take a closer look at your morning habits, especially the private ones. By the time you're 80, your body may have already lost over half its testosterone. Your cardiovascular system is more fragile. Your prostate more sensitive. And your nervous system, slower to recover from stimulation. And yet, no one warns you that masturbating first thing in the morning, the way you might have done in your 20s or 30s, now carries a very different risk. For some older men, it's a habit that could slowly push them toward fatigue, prostate problems, and even heart stress without them ever connecting the dots. Here's the truth most doctors won't say out loud: aging changes everything. The routines that once gave you energy can now take it away. But because this subject makes people uncomfortable, no one talks about the risks, even when the consequences are real. And if you're making one of these 4 common morning masturbation mistakes, mistakes that millions of senior men make every day, you could be unknowingly sabotaging your energy, your mood, your hormones, and your long-term vitality. But there's a silver lining, because there are men in their 70s and 80s who are stronger, sharper, and more vibrant today than they were decades ago. What's their secret? Small, smart shifts, starting with what they don't do first thing in the morning. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 4 dangerous morning masturbation mistakes most older men have never even heard of. But trust me, once you learn what they are, you'll never look at your morning the same way again. Let's dive in, starting with the first mistake, and this one surprises almost everyone. Mistake number 1, doing it on an empty stomach. Now, you've probably heard that fasting can be good for you. Maybe you even skip breakfast, thinking it helps with your weight or blood sugar. But what nobody tells you is that combining a fasted state with climax, especially first thing in the morning, can cause a nasty spike in cortisol. Cortisol is your body's stress hormone. And in small doses, it's natural. But when it rises too high, especially in older men, it becomes a slow, silent problem. Here's the issue: as you age, your body becomes more sensitive to cortisol's effects. That means even a moderate spike can leave you feeling wired, jittery, or more commonly, totally drained just a few hours later. That mid-morning crash. The one that hits you like a brick wall around 10 or 11 a.m. Yeah, it might have started with what you did before your coffee. High cortisol has also been linked to chronic inflammation, poor memory, weaker immunity, and even muscle loss. And when climax happens in a fasted state, without any food in your system to help stabilize hormones, it can hit your system like a punch to the gut. You're more likely to feel anxious, sluggish, and foggy. And over time, that daily hit chips away at your resilience. So what's the fix? Simple. Eat something first. Doesn't have to be a full meal, just a small protein-based breakfast. Maybe a boiled egg. A few spoonfuls of Greek yogurt. Even a small protein shake. What that does is buffer your cortisol response, level your blood sugar, and help your body release calming, stabilizing hormones after stimulation, not the stress chemicals that wear you down. It's a small shift, but the difference in how you feel throughout the day can be huge. Now let's move to mistake number 2, using porn first thing in the morning. I want to be real with you here. We live in a world where everything is instant, and that includes stimulation. But when you start your day by flooding your brain with high-intensity visual content, especially right when you wake up, you're setting up your dopamine system for a hard crash. Here's the science: dopamine is your motivation chemical. It drives focus, energy, decision-making, and that feeling of being ready to take on the day. But the older we get, the more delicate that system becomes. You're not 30 anymore. Your brain doesn't handle intense stimulation the way it used to. That morning hit of porn, even just a few minutes, can overwhelm your dopamine receptors. And when they get overloaded, they start to shut down temporarily. That's what leads to that empty, sluggish, unmotivated feeling afterward. Like you just want to sit around. Like nothing feels exciting. Like you get up and go, just got up and went. We call those flat days. No energy. No drive. And it's not depression, it's a chemical imbalance caused by repeated overstimulation. And here's the kicker: your brain becomes less sensitive over time. So what used to excite you now barely registers. You scroll longer. Click more. Chase stronger images. But you're still left feeling numb. That's not aging. That's dopamine fatigue. So what can you do instead? Simple again: avoid screens for the first hour after waking. Let your brain adjust to the day naturally. Take a walk. Stretch. Breathe. Let your body wake up the way it's designed to. And if you do feel that urge in the morning, try focusing on real connection, mental, emotional, even spiritual, not the artificial rush from a screen. You'd be amazed how different your body responds. Look, I know these shifts sound small. But if you're feeling more tired lately, less sharp, more emotionally flat, the answer might not be another pill or supplement. It might be in how you start your day, and what you stop doing first thing in the morning. And we're not done yet. The next two mistakes are even more common, and for some men, even more dangerous. So keep watching. Let's move into mistake number 3, going too hard, or too often. Now, I know this might sound a bit strange, especially if you've always thought of this as a form of release, a stress reliever. But here's what most men never hear. Just like physical exercise, stimulation of your reproductive system puts stress on the body. And as you age, your ability to recover from that stress changes. According to researchers at the Mayo Clinic, older men who overstimulate without enough recovery can experience increased prostate sensitivity, and in some cases, chronic pelvic pain or urinary issues that linger long after the moment is gone. Think about it. Your prostate isn't as resilient as it used to be. Years of use, changes in hormone levels, maybe a bit of inflammation you don't even notice, all of that means you need to treat this area with more care. Going too hard, too fast, or doing it too frequently, especially in the morning when your system is already vulnerable, could be quietly irritating your prostate and speeding up wear and tear. Some men start noticing that uncomfortable urge to urinate more often. Or they feel like they didn't empty their bladder fully. Sometimes there's even mild discomfort during the day, but they never connect it to what happened that morning. They blame the coffee. Or aging. Or bad sleep. But in many cases, the root cause is stress placed on the pelvic nerves and tissues from overuse. Here's what I want you to remember: this isn't about stopping. It's about pacing. Just like lifting weights or doing cardio, your body needs time to recover. What gave you a boost at 30 might leave you sore or drained at 70. So think quality over quantity. Respect your recovery window. Give your system space to bounce back. And don't treat your body like a machine that can always go on command. If you find yourself doing it out of boredom, habit, or even loneliness, slow down. Reflect. Sometimes, a deeper need is being masked by a moment of distraction. And now we come to mistake number 4, climaxing, then immediately going back to sleep. This one's extremely common. You wake up early, you indulge, and before you even wipe your eyes, you roll back under the covers. It feels relaxing, right? But what's happening under the surface could be throwing off your entire day. After climax, your body releases a hormone called prolactin, which is part of what makes you feel drowsy or content. But in older men, that surge of prolactin can disrupt your natural cortisol rhythm, the hormone that's supposed to rise in the morning to wake you up and energize you. What does that mean for you? If you go back to sleep after climax, you may be hijacking your internal clock. You wake up the second time feeling groggy, unmotivated, and mentally slow, even if you slept long enough. That's because your body was pulled out of rhythm. And over time, this pattern can throw off your sleep-wake cycles. You might find it harder to fall asleep at night, or harder to wake up naturally in the morning. You might feel like your days are getting heavier, and your nights less restful. And again, you don't realize it's being caused by something you thought was relaxing. So what's the smarter move? After stimulation, avoid lying back down. Instead, do some light movement, even just a few gentle stretches or walking to make your coffee. Let your body reset. Let your brain re-engage with the day. You'll notice better clarity, steadier energy, and over time, even improved sleep quality. Some men even report a more stable mood and less irritability just from making this one change. Now, I'm going to leave you with a thought. It's something researchers have only just begun to explore, and it might make you rethink your mornings completely. Some aging specialists are now quietly asking, should men over 60 be climaxing in the morning at all? Especially if the body is in its most sensitive, hormone-shifting state. There's no one-size-fits-all answer. Some men say it helps them feel calm. Others say it wrecks their energy and leaves them drained. But maybe the real question is, how does your body feel afterward? Not just for 10 minutes. But for the next 6 hours. The next day. The next week. You don't have to give up the things that bring you comfort, but you do have to understand how your body's needs change as you age. Because what worked for you then, might be quietly hurting you now. So if you're serious about protecting your energy, your hormones, and your long-term vitality, just remember these 4 common morning mistakes. First, don't do it on an empty stomach. Fuel your body first, even with something small, to avoid that cortisol spike that leaves you feeling drained by mid-morning. Second, skip the screen. Using porn first thing hijacks your dopamine system and leads to those long, sluggish days where nothing feels quite right. Protect your focus by protecting your mind. Third, don't go too hard or too often. You're not a machine. Your prostate and pelvic floor need care, not overuse. Give your body time to recover, and you'll feel the difference in your strength and clarity. And fourth, resist the urge to roll back into bed after climax. That habit might feel relaxing, but it can mess with your internal clock and rob you of energy and alertness for the rest of the day. You don't need to change everything overnight. But try adjusting just one of these habits tomorrow morning. Just one. Watch how your body responds. Pay attention to your focus. Your energy. Even your mood. You might notice less brain fog, fewer prostate twinges, better sleep, or a surprising surge in motivation you haven't felt in years. Because the truth is, your body is always giving you signals. You just need to start listening again. You know, aging doesn't have to mean giving up your confidence, your strength, or your masculinity. We've been sold this quiet lie, that after a certain age, the best parts of life are behind us. That you're supposed to slow down, settle, and just accept the aches, the fog, the fatigue. But that's not the truth. The truth is, you still have power. You still have control. And your body, even now, is capable of incredible things, when you give it the right care, the right rhythm, and the right respect. What we talked about today might feel private, maybe even a little uncomfortable. But let me tell you, these conversations matter. Because no one talks about this. Not your doctor. Not your friends. And yet, these little choices we make each morning, they quietly shape the rest of our lives. So let me ask you something, man to man. Which one of these morning habits hit home for you? Which one made you stop and think, maybe that's why I've been feeling the way I've been feeling? Was it the crash after doing it on an empty stomach? That mid-morning slump you always blamed on poor sleep? Or was it the emotional flatness, that strange emptiness, after using porn first thing? Even when you thought it would help you relax? Maybe it was the creeping discomfort in your lower body, the prostate issues you never connected to your morning routine. Or the grogginess that clings to you after going right back to sleep. Whatever it was, don't keep it to yourself. Let's talk about it in the comments. You'd be surprised how many other men are going through the exact same thing, but they don't know where to start, or who to ask. Your experience, your insight, it might be the exact thing another man needs to hear to make a change. One comment could change someone's entire outlook. And if you're watching this and thinking, yeah, it's time I take back control, then this is the place for you. Subscribe to Thriving Age Tip, because we're not just here to survive another year. We're here to sharpen our minds, strengthen our bodies, and protect the parts of ourselves that too many men are told to forget. Every week, I'll bring you practical, science-backed strategies made for men over 60. No fluff. No hype. Just real tools to help you stay sharp, stay strong, and stay in the game, on your terms. So hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell. And more importantly, start listening to what your body's been trying to tell you. Because it's not too late. You haven't missed your shot. You've still got time to turn the page, and write the strongest chapter yet. Thanks for watching. And remember, you're not alone. You're not broken. And you're not done.